Trapmore gang, it's time to take a break from the Epstein files to talk about one of the other most chilling cases going on in American news media today, and that is the disappearance of the 84-year-old mother, all right, Nancy Guthrie, mother of NBC News journalist and Today Show co-anchor Savannah Guthrie. And there is footage going around that apparently shows a suspect related to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mother, okay, and it is incredibly creepy. This is a very, very strange and dark American kidnapping story that's going on right now, and people are trying to get to the bottom of it. Now, I've got a whole bunch of links that I'm going to explain to you in this video, and I'm going to give you all the backstory to this situation. But people are wondering why this 84-year-old mother would actually end up getting kidnapped, okay? And I will let you know this does actually connect to the Epstein files in some ways. Now, we do have this footage there, you know, covering up this surveillance camera. They're holding up these plants. Looks like the guy's got a flashlight in his mouth or something. It's super creepy. It says he's sure taking his time. He's not worried about being caught. He was saying someone knows the body type, the way they walk, and around the mouth looks like a goatee, and the closed backpack, someone will know who this is. Think, oh my God, that poor lady, she must have been terrified. Now, let me give you some of this backstory, okay, to understand what's going on now. Very interestingly, what makes this kidnapping even more disturbing, okay, is the potential link to Jeffrey Epstein, as Nancy Guthrie's daughter, Savannah, is kind of being wrapped up in some of what's been going on. So some people have been making shorts and talking about the fact they're basically saying the same night the Epstein files dropped, that's when Nancy Guthrie was kidnapped. Listen to this.
It's Joe, and there's an angle to this Nancy Guthrie kidnapping that I haven't talked about because it's way more conspiracy theory than actual fact. But it's out there being discussed, and honestly, I can't completely rule it out. Anything's possible, I suppose. The theory is that this kidnapping could be retaliation or could be a message to Savannah Guthrie. So back in 2019, Savannah interviewed several of Jeffrey Epstein's victims for Dateline NBC. The timing is what people are talking about. The DOJ just released over 3 million Epstein files on Friday, January 31st. That same night, Nancy Guthrie disappears from her home. Same weekend. Now, I want to be clear. There's zero concrete evidence connecting these things. Law enforcement hasn't said a word about this angle, but the timing is raising eyebrows. Could someone connected to that world be sending Savannah a message? Again, pure speculation. No facts to back it up. But in a case this bizarre with ransom notes and no suspects, people are looking at every possible angle.
So there's speculation, all right, that she was one of the people that actually interviewed Epstein's victims back in 2019. And a lot of people are saying, is it a coincidence that her mother actually ended up getting kidnapped just as these files are getting released right along at the same time? Now, I'm going to show you a timeline of the information, okay, because apparently evidence recovered at the residence where she was taken from would indicate that her mother was taken against her will. Okay, Nancy Guthrie was apparently abducted against her will, with Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos stating clearly that he actually believes this was a targeted abduction. Okay, so this is basically a timeline of her disappearance. It says January the 31st. That's when Nancy Guthrie was last seen. She was seen on Saturday night, Jan 31st, or authorities said. She arrived at her daughter Annie's home at 5:32 p.m. She dined there and was dropped off at her own home after dinner at around 9:48 p.m. She was dropped off at home by her son-in-law, Tommaso Cioni. Police say he waited until Nancy Guthrie was inside before driving off. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos said at a news conference Thursday that her garage door was closed at 9:50 p.m., which time authorities assumed that Nancy Guthrie was home and going to bed. On February the 1st, not at church, a doorbell camera at Nancy Guthrie's home disconnected at 1:47 a.m. and software detected someone or possibly an animal on a camera about 25 minutes later, Nanos said. He said at the time the video wasn't available. Not another video not being available just when we want it. Her pacemaker app also showed a disconnect from her phone at 2:28 a.m. All right, so I guess she was separated from her phone if it was connected via Bluetooth. And on Sunday morning, a friend called Guthrie's family, telling them she'd not shown up for church. They notified the sheriff's department around noon that day, minutes after checking in on her. Once police arrived at the home at 12:15 p.m., they determined Nancy Guthrie was indeed missing under concerning circumstances. She has limited mobility and relies on daily medication for her health, officials have said, and this has prompted an urgent search for her to begin. On February the 2nd, the sheriff says, I believe she was abducted. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos confirmed confirmed on Monday that her disappearance was being treated as a crime and urged neighbors to review home video camera footage. We saw some things at the home that were concerning to us, Nanos told reporters. We believe now, after we've processed that crime scene, that we do in fact have a crime scene, that we do in fact have a crime, and we're asking for the community's help. He told CBS News that he believed Guthrie was abducted in the middle of the night. I believe she was abducted, yes. She didn't walk from there. She didn't go willingly. Missing persons flyer from the sheriff's department described her as 5 feet 5 inches tall, with brown hair, blue eyes, and weighing 150 pounds. Okay, so this is wanted poster. All right, I'm gonna just keep hold of that. Anyway, so there was some pretty disturbing stuff on February the 3rd that we're going to get into, right? Talk of a ransom note. But before we get to that, I just want to take a closer look at some of that footage that was actually released by the FBI. So the FBI are taking this seriously. It's a serious case already. And this footage has been going around and people have been noticing interesting things. They're saying this is possible facial hair. They're saying he had a goatee. They've spotted that the guy that pulled up had a reflective backpack. And they're saying that clearly he has a gun in his holster. People are saying this is terrifying, okay? It's crazy. No visible signs of blood on the ground. That's interesting. So it looks like he's actively trying to cover that camera up with his fist. He kind of pulled up and then he realized there was a camera looking at him. But he's covering it in a very odd way, and it looks like he's doing something with his other hand. He's wearing gloves, disposable gloves, so it's obvious that, you know, he's very well aware that he's doing something he shouldn't be doing. He's trying not to leave evidence if possible. But clearly it is a targeted abduction. That's what it is, right? He's got a big old backpack, got supplies in there. Now, interestingly, right, it says the arch here highlights a possible height comparison, so they might actually be able to work out how tall the suspect is from the height of this archway. But it says lights appear to flash from the suspect's mouth. Now that's interesting, right? Because it's like, kind of looked like he had a torch in his mouth or something. So he kind of pulls a plant or something out from the ground. He pulls plants from the ground to cover the Nest camera. Now it's quite an unusual decision, all right? And interesting enough, people are saying after pulling up the plant, he actually looks back at the vehicle on the road. So if you look at this, we'll see it. He pulls it up, kind of looks back at the car in the road. So he pulls a plant out and uses that to cover the Nest camera. Quite unusual. And like you see here, there's a light source coming from his mouth. I guess he had a torch in his mouth. That's going to have DNA on it if they get their hands on it. That's for sure. But trying to cover it up with a plant is crazy. Right, they see he had some kind of light in his mouth. And his hood actually looks lit up somehow. I guess, no, that's a reflection from his backpack. People are saying he's in Mexico or hiding now that they have the footage. I have a feeling they already know who he is. They're saying that the backpack was from Walmart. He's got a very distinctive walk and posture. People are saying this is not a hoax. That does not look like an Ozark backpack, in my opinion. It looks more generic. Did someone see a logo? Looks like he covers the camera with a hand and he presses the doorbell with the other and then gets the bush to blur the interaction. He has no tools out ready to pop a door. Such a creepy video, and he's not in a hurry. Now, some Redditors have actually noticed that the guy seemed to have a limp or a very noticeable gait. A gait is basically like the way that somebody stands and walks, all right? And we're going to follow the Nancy Guthrie subreddit because that is going to be a hive of activity going forward. So this guy's done a breakdown of the gait analysis, like the way that he's standing, the way he's walking and moving. People are finding that interesting. So they're saying FBI and citizens should be looking for an individual with chronic right knee pain and instability, or potentially right hip or upper leg musculature stiffness, generally weak joints. I'm a medical student at DO school. We're trained in depth how to spot asymmetries and anomalies of a person's musculoskeletal system. It says, I'm on hold now with the FBI to submit a tip. And I immediately notice the suspect favors his left leg and walks with a stiff right leg, generally showing signs of knee instability bilaterally, which could indicate an older age of the individual, 40 plus, or if younger, then indicates a potential HS history of athletics or a career in labor. The suspect favors his left leg when standing and walking. Notice he sways to the left side and has an uneven pace favoring his left side. When stepping down from the porch, he leans back more than is expected and gingerly lays his hand on his lands on his right leg, which is relatively straight the whole time. Stiff right leg potentially caused by chronic injury of the knee, hip, or tense upper leg muscles. But the smoking gun, notice how when he bends down to grab the flowers, he initially flexes his knees bilaterally, but then leans to the left, straightens his right leg, bends down entirely via his left leg. Some have speculated that he was left-handed since he grabs the flower with his left hand, but to me it's clear he was simply uncomfortable bending with his right leg. FBI should release a general description of the suspect that includes potential chronic injury or pain of the right lower limb and hip. There's a decent amount of misinformed anti-DO rhetoric in my response to my post. Here's a link to the general education on MDs versus DOs. Anyway, I don't really care about all that. Okay, thanks Matt Lauer getting revenge. He couldn't grip his right hand to pull out the foliage. His entire right side looked recently injured. People suspected that he was left-handed, but his gun was set up to be pulled out with his right hand. Wonder if he crashed the car at the house that they raided was his. Wonder if the crash car at the house they raided was his and he'd recently been in an accident. YouTube channel Monk's Intrigue thought that he had injured himself that night at Nancy's and posted a video about it. Very, very interesting. But now, since then, investigators have essentially, as of the 3rd of February 2026, they recently found signs of a violent struggle inside the home, including what apparently was a blood trail that has been confirmed now to belong to Nancy Guthrie.
We're learning disturbing new details about the abduction of Savannah Guthrie's mom. Police found a trail of blood in her driveway and signs of forced entry and a struggle inside her $1 million home in Tucson, according to published reports. I spoke with Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos.
In your gut, do you believe Nancy is alive?
You know, I'm never going to give up on that. I've been at this for a long time, 50 years, and my gut tells me something that, wow, but sometimes I'm wrong too.
This is Nancy Guthrie's house, where police say she was abducted. Now, police have been asking for ring camera of neighbors, but when you look around the neighborhood, it's very unlikely that you may find anything. There are no street lights, so it's very dark here at night. And look at the surrounding brush. You don't see any other homes, you just see brush and cactus. This area is very remote. 84 years.
So it's a creepy area, right? And it is remote and it is a little bit spooky. And they're saying that there was a trail of blood. Even the police chief kind of wasn't fully convinced. Didn't really know if she was alive. Now, apparently multiple news outlets, including TMZ, actually did receive a ransom note shortly after her appearance. So here's some info on that.
So something happened here just a few minutes ago. We received an email at TMZ from somebody purporting to basically issue a ransom demand. I'm not going to read this, but the top line to it is that they are asking for money, a lot. They are asking for it in the form of Bitcoin, and they are putting an or else on this.
Right.
Now, they also say they do two things.
You don't want that number.
Right. They say two things. They say that that there is an address, a Bitcoin address that that they could send this money to, and then they give a description of something that Savannah's mother was wearing at the time of the abduction and a damaged item in the house.
Both things are clearly mentioned because they want to prove that they're legit. That
So
they
what-
have information about something that happened in the house. We
don't know.
Don't know if that is accurate.
We have called the sheriff.
So they're claiming that TMZ and other people, other news outlets, have actually received a letter that basically said we need a very large ransom to be paid in Bitcoin. Okay, and here are some details about the kidnapping that will prove that we are the people responsible. It's very, very scary. And a major concern was, of course, the idea that Nancy was actually taken without her daily medication, which she actually requires to survive. And, you know, this is a sort of another sad detail that was covered in People magazine. It says Savannah Guthrie's longtime friend Jenna Bush Hager is sharing insight after the disappearance of Guthrie's 84-year-old mum, Nancy. On Monday, the 2nd of February, the Today Show covered the disappearance of Savannah's mom, noting that she was last seen alive. She was last seen on the evening of Saturday, January the 31st, and reported missing on Sunday, February the 1st. So they said, "We love Nancy. I know her personally," Bush Hager said during the 4-hour Today with Jenna and Chenielle. And we just want to report too that she takes daily medication and she needs them for survival. She's without her medication, so we're thinking of our dearest, dearest Savannah and her whole family right now. Our prayers obviously go out to Savannah and the entire family. So the fact that she's not getting her medication, that she's been gone for quite some time, was very, very concerning. Now, on February the 7th, 2026, we get an update, okay, as desperate for answers, the Guthrie family would make a public plea offering to pay any price for her safe return. And it does make you wonder whether or not they actually did decide to pay that ransom or whether that was actually being considered. So this was their public plea, basically saying, we will pay for the return of 84-year-old mother Nancy, from Savannah Guthrie. And it says, this is the only way we will have peace. It is really, really sad that this is actually what went down. So it says, Savannah Guthrie took to Instagram on Saturday afternoon to share another message with her mother's kidnapper, this time saying she and her family will pay for Nancy Guthrie's return. We received your message and we understand, Guthrie said in the video, flanked by her siblings Annie and Cameron. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we'll have peace, and this is very valuable to us, and we will pay. Says that Nancy Guthrie went missing from her Arizona residence on January the 31st, and on Monday, the Pima County Sheriff's Office announced that the disappearance was being treated as a crime. It says they believe that she was abducted, and they're investigating the suspected kidnapping and even put up a $50,000 reward for any information leading to her recovery and or the arrest on conviction of anyone involved in the disappearance. The FBI agents, analysts, and professional staff and employees have been working day and night with partners in the Sheriff's Department. They said the FBI had said they deployed additional intelligence and agents from their Phoenix office. The local sheriff, Nanos, who spoke during the briefing, said that was a guy from the local law enforcement. I don't know why he's just being brought. He was the sheriff chief of the area. Okay, so he basically spoke during the briefing. He said the authorities have not identified a suspect or person of interest in this case, and he shut down claims that forced entry was used to gain entrance into the home. And Donald Trump even ordered all federal law enforcement to help search for her, and he basically said the investigation is going very well and definitive answers could be released in the coming days. Okay, I think we're doing very well in that regard. He said, you're probably surprised to hear that. I think we're doing very well, meaning we could have some clues, I think, that are very strong. I think we could have some answers coming up fairly soon. On Wednesday evening, Savannah Guthrie posted an emotional video on her Instagram in which she and her two siblings, Annie and Cameron, pleaded with their mother's kidnapper to give them a sign of life. She's 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She's without any medicine. She needs it to survive, and she needs it to not suffer. She said, we too have heard reports about a ransom letter in the media, and as a family, we're doing everything we can. We're ready to talk. However, we live in a world where the voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know without a doubt that she's alive and that you have her, and we want her. We want to hear from you, and we're ready to listen. So it's so sad that we're living in this age of AI that you could even just fake a proof of life video with AI and, you know, just act like somebody's still alive when they're not. So I want to show you a couple of things she posted on her Instagram. And she posted a few different things about this over the last few days and the last few weeks, and it is just really, really sad to see. It started with just this one, please pray. And she said, we believe in prayer, we believe in voices raised in unison, in love, in hope. We believe in goodness. We believe in humanity. And above all, we believe in him. Thank you for lifting our prayers, your prayers with ours, for our beloved mother, our dearest Nancy, a woman of deep conviction, a good and faithful servant. Raise your prayers with us and believe with us that she will be lifted by them in this very moment. We need you. He will keep you in perfect peace, those whose hearts are steadfast, trusting in the Lord, a verse of Isaiah, for all time, for all of us. And this was the appeal.
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She's funny, spunky, and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun and adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
The light is missing from our lives. Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances. She chooses joy day after day, despite having already passed through great trials of pain and grief. We are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
Our mom is our heart and our home. She is 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us. Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere. We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again. We speak to you every moment, and we pray without ceasing, and we rejoice in advance for the day that we hold you in our arms again. We love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
We love you, Mom. We love you.
That's just so sad to see, you know. And so we've got more appeals from her Instagram. I mean, I'd be curious to watch some of these just to get an idea of some of the messages that the family are actually putting out there.
This is Cameron Guthrie. I'm speaking for the Guthrie family. Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
It's dark.
We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
So that's them. They're saying they'll pay, and it kept on going.
Hi there, everybody. I wanted to come on and just share a few thoughts as we enter into another week of this nightmare. I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for all of the prayers and the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I, and that our mom has felt. Because we believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers, and that God is lifting her even in this moment and in this darkest place. We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock, trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
So this is them sharing photographs of this guy holding up the plant, you know, who kidnapped the woman, who seemingly was the person, the individual involved, and just sharing that footage. But there's really not been, you know, major updates now. They would actually post a pretty harrowing clip, some kind of home movies of her, and I believe this has a song underneath it, which I can't play you. But as you can see, it's just really sort of sad old home movies of the family back when they were together. And, you know, it just really drives home the human cost and reality of this situation. I mean, Jesus, just to have your mother taken from you in this way, you know, it doesn't matter if she's 84 or if she's 24. This is just insane. And, you know, they're saying that there was ransom sent out. People were asking for Bitcoin. Wouldn't be surprising to me if some really horrible actors behind the scenes were actually faking to be the kidnappers to just try and squeeze some Bitcoin out of desperate people. It's really sad. So this is her latest update from just 2 days ago, saying bring her home and it's never too late to do the right thing. Now I'm going to play you this, and then I'm going to play you a little bit more backstory about what's actually going on in the FBI's investigation of this case before I wrap it up.
I wanted to come on, and it's been 2 weeks since our mom was taken, and I just wanted to come on and say that we still have hope, and we still believe. And I wanted to say to whoever has her or knows where she is that it's never too late. And you're not lost or alone. And it is never too late to do the right thing. And we are here. And we believe. And we believe in the essential goodness of every human being. And it's never too late.
So she's actually appealing to the humanity of the kidnappers there, which I think is really interesting. Now, when she did say in the previous video that they're willing to pay, this sparked a lot of interest and debate kind of around Reddit and people kind of giving their opinion on the case. Okay, people saying the phrasing in this video is extremely ominous and it implies that Nancy is dead. From the fact that at no point did they request the kidnappers return her safely and not hurt her, to the way they say this is valuable to us and only we will have peace, that's not how you talk about a living person. And people saying, I mean, it's been almost a week. She hasn't been getting her medication that she needs daily, so it's really not looking good. It says they were very grim. They didn't even ask for proof of life, and this makes me very sad. But it seems like they know she's dead and are just not guessing. It says they got additional communication from the kidnapper, so may know from that. They may know from that. Also, the FBI might have additional info. I hope I am wrong. People saying my heart breaks for his family. I can't wrap my head around this cruelty to an elderly woman. Okay, people saying it reads like she unfortunately passed away. The wording is unusual to say the least. This is a request for a body. That's what they're saying. I don't think she's alive at this point. Now, some more information in the investigation did come out. Now, they actually released what appeared to be an unofficial sketch of a suspect believed to be involved.
She's in the Guinness Book of World Records as the most successful sketch artist. She also spent 4 decades employed with the Houston Police Department before retiring in 2021.
And now she's using her skill to help identify the masked man seen in that Nancy Guthrie video. Today, our Joel Eisenbaum went to see how she came up with that sketch.
Lois Gibson has had some remarkably close matches over the years. I have witnessed them. She can literally examine a skull and bones and recreate a person. And now she's using that unique skill to crack one of the biggest capers in recent history.
There were 5,089 cases that I worked.
5,089. Lois Gibson is already a famous figure in the sketch artist space, retired now, but feeling compelled to use her skills one more time. The mission is to help identify the concealed figure in the riveting Nancy Guthrie case. Gibson pegs this person of interest in this now famous doorbell video as being in their mid-30s or early 40s.
Okay, the eyes, I got the eye shape. I know his eyelids are going to be like that. I have those eyelids.
Gibson is so in tune with her work, she taps not just her 40-plus years of experience, but her own emotional feel. And it so often works.
Look at him. I mean, he's got hair. I saw him walking, and he's got an okay, pretty nice body. I don't like.
She's got a pretty nice body. But look, this is the person. She basically thinks that that is what he might actually look like. Okay. And, you know, it was something. It was something for people to hold on to. Now, as time went on, okay, on February the 13th, that's when a very chilling video that was captured by a resident just 6 miles from Nancy's home, it would show apparent suspicious activity about a week before she vanished. So a couple of Ring doorbell footages that would come round. These came out on February the 13th, but they were recorded on January the 23rd at 3:30 a.m. Now, interestingly enough, could this guy be a match? Didn't quite look like the sketch, but we're seeing some facial hair. A little bit suspicious, a little bit unusual. People wondering what this guy's doing in front of the doorbell. Looks like he has a goatee. Doing some suspicious, weird stuff to the camera. Definitely a little bit suspect. People saying, do the FBI have this? This is crazy. It said, I called them and they actually don't. And I can't figure out how to send it. So they still don't have it. I just called them. Name checks out. All right, saying TMZ just posted an article about this. Video posted on January 23rd on the Ring Neighbors app shows the guy intentionally backing up to the front door of a home about 6.5 miles from where Savannah Guthrie's mother lives. A high-ranking law enforcement source connected to the investigation tells TMZ the FBI and Pimlico County Sheriff's Department are aware of the video and they're treating it like a potential lead. The dark-haired individual does have facial hair similar to the person seen in the FBI-released images captured by Nancy's doorbell camera. Although that person was wearing a knitted ski mask, you can still see a goatee or beard underneath the material. As we reported, the cops are asking residents within a 2-mile radius of Nancy's home to check security cameras for anything suspicious during the entire month of January. As you know, she was reported missing on February the 1st, but this particular image has been making the rounds on social media. It looks very suspicious, especially the last shots of him trying to tamper with the doorbell camera. He doesn't fit the description perfectly, but he could be an accomplice, possibly a brother, cousin. He looks taller because of the archways, but they could be a lower height than those at Nancy's house. Also, a different type of camera could change perspective on the archways. For sure, look into this guy. One way or another, he's up to no good at 3:30 a.m. on your front porch, right? And there's a lot of creepers in the neighborhood, but that is a little bit too suspicious. Now, interestingly enough, on Valentine's Day 2026, the authorities would actually apparently detain multiple people of interest, but unfortunately, well, they were immediately released.
Gio, they're not saying why they went into that neighborhood last night. We were actually with them, somewhat by mistake, but in the convoy as they were going in, and we were watching these SWAT team vehicles that were going into the neighborhood, only about 2 miles away from where we are here at the Guthrie home right now. They went in with a lot of firepower. They had a lot of SWAT team vehicles, armored vehicles going in, a lot of patrol vehicles as well. They shut down the street and they were in there for a number of hours in the rain and cold last night as they were executing a search warrant. And then maybe 3 or 4 blocks away from there at a fast food restaurant, there was a traffic stop where we saw the FBI respond to that as well. And they detained a man for a number of hours and seemed to be doing something with him, maybe taking DNA swabs and inspecting a Range Rover, even putting up a tarp so that we could not see what they were doing around that Range Rover as photos were being taken and they were looking in the back of it. And in the end now, our sources are saying nobody was arrested. There was that one person detained, but not arrested, it appears, that they executed a search warrant and that they were acting on a tip as part of this investigation as they have been looking into tips and carrying out leads. But as of today, we are told that nobody was arrested in all of the activity last night. This is the second time. Earlier in the week, there was the man about an hour south of here in Rio Rico where he was detained for a number of hours. Turned out he was a delivery man who may have delivered to this area, why his cell phone and his car may have been in the area. The sheriff saying that that man is not totally cleared at this point, but they have kind of moved on from him. Last night they were following up on a tip and they carried out that search warrant.
So they've been searching properties. They have been making little detentions and then releasing people. But interestingly, apparently a breakthrough was then made just a couple of days after this, right? What was it? Yesterday, when basically authorities claim that they found DNA evidence on a glove just 2 miles away from the Guthrie residence.
Yeah, Andrew, it could be if it does pan out. They don't know. They tell us 16 gloves have been found around the area in Pima County as they have been searching around. Most of those have been gloves that belong to either search and rescue team members or detectives, but there is this one glove that is generically very similar to what was seen in the doorbell video camera. But they don't know. They're going to put the DNA results that they got into what's called CODIS, a national FBI database, to see if they get any hit off of it. But It could just be roadside debris as well. They don't know what it is yet. They're hoping that it's something, but it may be nothing in the end.
Robert, let's get to you. Now that authorities have...
So they found this glove. It seemed to be a match from the one from the video. And at this point, okay, media outlets would actually begin reporting receiving more letters, apparently 4 total, from the alleged abductors, which would keep pressure on the family. But essentially, TMZ would be claiming that they'd be getting a lot of letters, but still all these letters and no progress. So tell me what you think of this.
It is Monday morning. We have received a 4th letter from the same person who says that he knows where Nancy Guthrie is and he wants money in return for the information. Essentially, he wants the reward. So I have something to say to you. And I have already talked to the FBI about this, that if you are not real, you're committing a crime. And you should know that. And this is a serious federal.
If you are real, you're also committing, just for the record, if you're actually a kidnapper, you're also committing a crime.
If you are real, this is the 4th letter you've sent. And I should tell everybody that in this letter, it says, I know what I saw 5 days ago south of the border, and I was told to shut up, so I know who he is, and that was definitely Nancy with them. This is the 2nd time he has referred to more than one person involved in this. He said there is a main person and there are others, and he said it here. He is saying that Nancy was taken to Mexico. Now, this is what he's saying. I'm not going to vouch for him, but this is the 4th letter. We have sent them all on to the FBI. And he also says one of the reasons he's worried about coming forward is he has a record. He has a burglary on his record from 10 years ago. So I don't know if you're real or not if you're watching this, but if you are, and I have told the FBI that we're going to do this, they know this, that if you're worried about getting this money and you really do have this information, send it to us. You're sending us these letters. Send it to us. We will forward it to the FBI. And that way there's a record that we have that you supplied this information. If they find her and they find the kidnapper, then at least there is evidence, because we have it, that you're the one who provided the information. So this is a way for you to get that money if this really is legitimate. Send us the information. We will pass it on to the FBI.
So, look, I personally think this could be a load of cat, but who knows? Okay, but the last thing I want to tell you before I move on from this story is that as of today, okay, authorities have actually cleared Nancy Guthrie's family of any wrongdoing in her disappearance and, you know, just basically cleared the suggestions that they might have had something to do with what was going on, which I think is only right, but it's really got to that point because they couldn't find anything else.
New developments tonight in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. Late today, the sheriff saying all family members have been cleared in her disappearance, aware of the online chatter and speculation surrounding this case. Tonight here, investigators on a possible break in this case, that male DNA found on a glove, and Savannah Guthrie, the pain evident on her face, with a new post to the person who took her mother, as they now begin week 3 without their mother. Here's our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky, in Tucson again tonight.
So look, this report basically did say that they were, you know, they cleared the family, all right, they cleared the spouses as suspects.
The Pima County Sheriff saying, to be clear, the Guthrie family, to include all siblings and spouses, has been cleared as possible suspects in this case. The family has been nothing but cooperative and gracious and are victims in this case. To suggest otherwise is not only wrong, it is cruel. The Guthrie family are victims, plain and simple. The FBI is...
So, right now, we still don't know what's going on with this. TMZ are talking about they've had 4 letters. Okay, at least the family have been cleared. I mean, that was never really that was never really a start. You can see the way they're behaving. But the fact we actually have footage of this guy pulling up to the property, covering up the Ring doorbell camera, and she's disappeared without trace, and it's now been weeks. It's insane. Okay, it's insane. I had been following this story loosely over the last couple of weeks, thinking that is so odd. I'd never heard anything like that. that footage is chilling. Okay, so if I hear anything else about this story, I will keep you guys updated. It is very interesting. I feel like there has to be a conclusion at some point soon. I really hope she's alive. For the family's sake, for her sake, I just think that it would be so heartwarming for this to end with her actually being alive. But as they're saying, she takes daily medication. She's been away for a few weeks. Nobody knows where she is. They don't know the condition she's been kept in, if she is still alive. It's really heartbreaking. So prayers up for the Guthrie family, man. I hope that they can actually find a solution, a resolution that's positive in this situation. As just heartbreaking and disheartening it's been, I do hope that they can get somewhere positive with it. But for now, I'll leave you with that. Let me know what you guys thought of this story, and I'll keep you guys updated if I hear any more news. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.